You inspected the doll closer. It was so lifelike. How did he... you realized immediately. The eyes were moving. Well, hey all you cool creatures. I'm Cryptid. Welcome to the Cryptid Plays YouTube channel, and today we are continuing Perfect Love. Now, we're gonna do the party route, which I believe makes Milo manipulative, so that's gonna be fun. But I suppose I should give you the content warnings again before we get started. I have recorded this route before the intro right here, so I kind of know what to expect, and trust me, it gets dark. You're going to want the content warnings. Content warnings include bullying, blood, violence, toxic relationship, blackmail, stalking, manipulation, drugs, drugging, cruel main character, yandere behavior, as well as high-pitched, loud, or droning sounds, cannibalism, harassment, brief mentions of alcohol, possessiveness, very brief mention / implication of sexual stuff, murder, brief mention of suicide, branding, amputation, eye trauma, emotional manipulation, possible motion sickness, and fast-moving imagery. Obviously, with the sounds or the fast-moving imagery, I will be putting a warning on the screen, so viewer discretion is advised. And with that out of the way, let us create our perfect love. There are 2 different versions of Milo you can get, as far as I'm aware. I mean, obviously. You know what? Let's do the manipulative version first. I think it's time for you to find some new friends. Parties are a fun way to get to know people. Oh, I didn't know about that. I've never been good at parties. It's a college rite of passage, and I'll be there with you. Don't worry. You can trust me. We are dating for life, aren't we? Man, we are a messed up person. Milo's face warms up. I can almost hear his heartbeat from here. For life? Well, yeah, but saying it out loud is... You chuckle a bit. What a pure boy. Come on, my pet. Let's head to the venue. I promise it will be worthwhile. We arrive in a venue, the lights flashing and the music blaring. Amongst the crowd, you see a red-haired girl dancing. Ah, Holly is here, huh? You smile. This couldn't be any more perfect. Milo seems to flinch at all the stimulation he faces suddenly. Shh, shh. It's okay, my pet. Let's head somewhere a bit more quiet. Taking his hand, you bring him to the back where the tables are. Here goes the first part of the process. Milo, could you do something for me? What is it? If it's anything to do with bugs, I don't know if I can. It's nothing like that, my pet. Soon you will meet some friends of mine. Oh, that sounds nice. It sure will be. There will be a point in the conversation where I'll ask you to agree with me. You won't know what I'm talking about, but I'll need you to play along. All right, my pet? Milo seems to hesitate a bit before nodding. Okay, I'm sure whatever it is you're making me agree to is... Don't worry. It's, let's say, a way for you to learn. You smile slightly to reassure him, but it only seems to worry him more. Actually, I wanted to give you something for our first date. You pulled out some clip-on earrings for him. Whoa, I've always wanted to try these. If you wear them now, we'll match. You point to the ones dangling on your ear. I'll put it on right away. He clips it on eagerly and smiles giddily. Does it look good? Everything looks good on you, my pet. With that, you and Milo hurried to meet your friends. Yo! You finally made it! I was wondering if you were gonna bail on us. A girl with brown hair and what looked to be a grass skirt was waving to us frantically. Volley, what do you mean by bail on you? I would never do that. Sure, like you didn't do that last time. She huffs dramatically before seeing Milo hiding behind you. Oh, is this your new boy toy? Cute. It's been a while. How long is this one going to last? A month? 6? Supposed to last our whole lives as far as we said, but we shall see. My name is Milo. It's nice to meet you. Volley, I'm sure you of all people know it's not good to talk about how long a partner is going to last. Besides, you cling on to his arm and you can feel Milo fidgeting and his body heating up again. Milo is going to be my future husband. Isn't that right, my pet? Yeah, that's right. My pet is my boyfriend. He seems like a bit different from the other ones you've dated. Don't you usually date more, scary people? No offense. So, maybe you're right. I hope that you two have a long happiness together. She put up her cup to cheer to our new relationship. Oh, I forgot to introduce the rest of the gang. Silly me. The short one is Desmond. He's got a nasty temper. And I am going to ruin you if you call me short again, Valley. Like I said, nasty. Still, it looks like you actually chose a decent person to date this time. Thank you. I'm loving the weird little sounds they've used for all these characters. Let's try not to disappoint, alright? What are these sounds? They're so funny. I'm not really fond of troublemakers. I'll take note. Finally, there's Seth. Seth, could you stop reading for a second? Do you have an interest in monsters of lore? I see you're reading a Monster X Human romance, it seems. Good on you. The answer is still no, Seth. He grumbles, going back to his book. I would be interested. Really? Do you know about the monster of the forest? I heard that they kill innocents and are trying to get out. Oh, that's... He hesitates, but ultimately grips onto your arm strongly. He's not that interested, Seth. After all, the only thing Seth cares about is being killed by a monster that doesn't exist. They exist? How do you explain the idea that everyone that goes in never comes out? I don't know, maybe they just fall in a pit or something, Seth. He grimaces, clearly annoyed by your lack of faith. Well, his little sounds. Well, it's nice meeting you, Seth. Likewise. The conversation starts weaving and interconnecting, bouncing from topic to topic. Insects are the grossest, aren't they? What do they need so many legs for? Excuse you? For moving, for walking, for being insects. How could you even ask that? Ah, my poor moth self can't handle this. The way they move is so... ugh. Milo shudders, imagining an insect crawling around. Speaking of insects, I think that she's here in this venue today. I saw her red hair the second I stepped in here. Volley grimaces when she mentions her, and the other two look away, not wanting to pry. I feel like this is a bad question, but Holly. Volley and her used to date, but they haven't been on good terms. That's saying it lightly. She's the one who betrayed me. Got me kicked out of my last university, and for what? Weren't you stealing data from this? The point is, she screwed me over. Should have kept her mouth shut. Speaking of which... well... come on, tell me. Don't bail out on information. You smile, feeding on Valley's love of gossip. I think Milo saw her yesterday giving a USB to someone. Based on his description, it sounds like it had a picture of a hula girl on it. What? She took the USB that got me kicked out and then tried to sell it? to someone. Luckily, it seems the deal didn't go well and she still has it on her. Isn't that right, Milo? Oh no! Stop putting the poor boy on the spot. All eyes turn on him, and you can feel his panic from here. Cryptid? What are you? Remember what you told me, Milo. You are supposed to agree with me that you saw a girl with red hair and a green skirt try to give that USB to someone. Remember what you promised? He hesitates, but he seems to remember what you told him earlier. Earth to Milo. Now that I think about it, I did see a redhead girl try to give the USB to someone, but I didn't know that was yours, so It's okay, Milo. There's no way that you would have known. But I did think you deserved to know the truth, Valley. I mean, Holly did such awful things to you, and now, what a hypocrite. I was angry too when I saw her downstairs. Looking at Valley, it was obvious that she was beyond angry. She threw her chair aside and marched down the stairs. Yo, motherfuck! Arguments started immediately, along with screaming and sounds of glass breaking. Both Desmond and Seth ran down to try to calm her down, and Milo tried to as well, but you stopped him. What? Milo, let's not deal with that mess right now, shall we? But what about... Don't worry. They can take care of it. As the fight below continued, you brought him into the hall to talk. That turned out well. It turned out even better than expected, to be honest. It took a while to plant that USB, but it's worth it to get Milo exactly where you wanted him. Not to question you or anything, but why did you make me lie about that? I mean, if you didn't bring that up, Volley wouldn't be fighting, and isn't it wrong to spread rumors like that? Is it really rumors if it's the truth? Volley has been making excuses left and right to excuse Holly's behavior towards her. No matter how much she yammers about how much she hates her, she's always had a soft spot for her. Angry about kicking her out, but never confronting her about it? Tragic. If it weren't for this, she would have never been able to snap out of it. But doing it like this is... Sometimes, to get people to understand, we have to use unorthodox methods. He turns quiet. not knowing what to say. Towards people we like, towards people we hate. In the end, it doesn't really matter how we get there. It's the results that matter. You pat Milo's shoulder reassuringly. You did well, Milo. I'm proud of you. The best way to use information is for your own benefit, right? To yours and those you care about. Or to destroy someone like that bully of yours. The only way to fight fire sometimes is with fire. I mean, he'll never stop coming after you, you know. It's not wrong to protect yourself in this manner. He deserves it, doesn't he? Milo stops for a second, contemplative, then looks up at you with resolve. Please teach me, my pet. You smile. This is really turning out better than you planned. For a while, it was our favorite thing to do together. We hung out with different people, learning about them, watching how they interact with each other. Enough to build trust, enough to be let inside. And then destroy them under the guise of helping. We pinned people against each other and watched as they ruined themselves. We sowed conflict where there hadn't been any. You and Milo were always together, the two lovebirds that flew from wire to wire. Milo changed as well. He dressed more cleanly, talked more sweetly. He could always get in and out of conversation in a pinch. He was learning how to use information as a weapon. All was well for a while, at least until... Desmond had brought Milo over to the side to talk to him. You felt tense, worried that Desmond might undo all the hard work you did. So, you decided to look for them. Walking around the venue, you hear Desmond's voice in an empty hall. You're a good guy, Milo. I could tell from the first moment we talked, but lately it feels like Cryptid has been leading you down the wrong path. Oh, I sure have. It was just as you thought. Desmond was meddling in other people's affairs again. Out of your friends, he probably had one of the stronger moral compasses. Always trying to do what's right. It was irritating. But jumping in now would be... You decided to continue listening. Why? How could you say something like that about him? Without him, I would be... Listen, it's just that Cryptid is the type who will get what he wants, no matter the cost. Whatever methods have to be used, whoever needs to be sacrificed. A person whose ends justifies the means. What would he want from me then? Simply put, my dear, devotion. To an extreme degree. Desmond is silent, seeming to hesitate. I'm not sure. I doubt my pet would do such a thing. Although he sounds confident, you can feel his hesitation. Listen, I can't control what you do, but I think you should. Suddenly, it's quiet. He must be whispering something to him. Ah! This wasn't supposed to happen. You walk towards them as if looking for Milo, interrupting them. And what are you two whispering about? Oh, Cryptid. How long have you been there? I was just trying to find Milo since you guys were talking for so long. Why, were you saying something I wasn't supposed to hear? Desmond looks away awkwardly as if he's been caught. It's nothing, my pet. He just had some questions for one of our classes. I'm going to get going now. Before you can do anything, he scurries away like the rat he is. You turn to Milo, who seems to gaze at you intently. What did he really say to you, Milo? You aren't trying to... His voice trails off, before smiling a bit. There's no way that you are. You're perfect as is. You're not sure what to say. You feel like trying to pry will cause him to doubt you more. You can't have this one fail on you. Not when you've put so much effort into shaping him. Before you can say anything, Milo pulls you by the hand back to the group. Before long, it seemed that Milo was avoiding you. Whenever you called out to him or saw him walking around campus, he would run away. He started to jump group to group to avoid you. Yet, surprisingly, it didn't seem that he had decided to end your relationship. Either way, whatever that rat said to him seemed to have worked. Are you two having a fight? Did something happen? It's nothing. It's just a silly disagreement. How annoying. If that's going to be the case, why not use it to your advantage? You were able to corner Desmond after class one day. What do you want? I have extra credit work I have to do today. It's obvious he wanted to run, but you refused to let this mouse free. I just wanted to talk about Iya, and well, she might be in big trouble this time. His face twitched in worry. He hesitates, not sure if he wants to take the bait. Fine, but make it quick. You ended up dragging him into an empty lecture hall. He seems extremely paranoid as he comes in. What's going on with my girlfriend? Let me guess. She ended up fist fighting the professor again. Was that something that happened often? Whatever. It doesn't matter. Here, I just wanted you to look at this. You show him something on your phone, and his eyes go wide with fear. Then anger. What do you want? Ah, we're finally getting somewhere. Let's clean up this mess that he started. Amongst the crowd of people, you see Milo in the center of it all. The gossipers, a perfect place to gain information. They laugh as he jokes around. Everyone's eyes are on him, just as you taught him. So somehow I ended up putting the lyrics in the paper, and he still gave me full marks. They all laugh before Desmond walks into the crowd, with a grimaced look on his face. Oh, hey Desmond, what are you? His sentence is cut off when he sees who Desmond brought with him. Sorry, Milo. He forced me to. The man that had been torturing him stands before him, his face smiling with sadistic glee. Ryan. Milo's charismatic facade drops. He has turned back to the bully victim from before. Well, well, look who it is. He walks closer to Milo as he shrinks away. My old friend. It's been a while. Ryan? What do you want? What do I want? I just want to hang out with an old friend is all. You know, after you abandoned us, I was really heartbroken, you know. I thought we bonded in our time together. But I understand. I mean, I'm surprised you're friends with so many people. Especially since you used to be quite the stalker in the day. Milo's face is pale. He panics as the other members whisper among themselves. No, it wasn't. Milo the stalker. I heard you followed that person around for how many days? And you even took a pair of their gym clothes. What were you doing with them, you perv? Disgusting. They made me do it. They peer pressured me and... Seriously though, does Cryptid know about this? Did you tell him? Were you so afraid he'd break up with you immediately? Can you imagine his face? when they find out their lovely, cute Milo is just a filthy pervert? Milo is at a loss for what to say. He curls up into a ball. But please, just stop. Aw, don't act like that. I heard you've been avoiding your boyfriend. There's no way he'd come to save... Au contraire. Come to save who now? All eyes turn to you as you walk in, unfazed by Ryan's words. Ryan looks at you, clearly unimpressed. Oh, look at that. Your pet has come to save you. Did you feel pity for this guy after we broke up? That's pathetic. Even for you. But it's not like I expected anything from you in the first place. You've always been so whiny, clingy, disgusting. Oh, was that just me? Ryan stiffens at your words. From what I recall, you were the one who was begging on the floor. What? That's stupid. Why would I would be careful about those next words you say, Ryan. It would be terrible if everyone knew about that. Ryan goes silent. You can feel his eyes darting from place to place. As for Milo, even if he did stalk some poor bastard in the past, what excuse do you have to talk down to him? As if you all are so pure-hearted and innocent. In fact, you turn to the rest of them. I know exactly the kinds of skeletons you all keep in your closet. The group looks around nervously, their faces filled with paranoia. So then, let's keep this conversation between us, all right? You turn to Ryan, and as you touch his shoulder, he flinches. Let's try not to stir up any more trouble, okay? His eyes dart around, but eventually, Ryan walks away without a word. The group disperses, awkwardly trying to guard their own secrets, and you're left alone with Milo. Why did you come to save me? Well, I couldn't let my boyfriend be trampled on, now could I? Even if he's been avoiding me for a while. He freezes at your words, but you pet his head and reassure him. You know, I was really worried that I'd done something wrong. And I really missed you. The fact that my pet wouldn't even glance at me made my heart sink. Desmond told me to avoid you for a while. But I shouldn't have trusted him. I didn't know. Shh. It's okay, my pet. I forgive you. People out there may always betray you, but I will always come to save you. And you'll do the same, right? you're the only person I can trust. Yeah, from now on, I'll only trust you. You smile at his remark. We're back on track. Desmond was meeting up with you at the split paths. Look, I brought Ryan like you told me to, so we're even now, right? You pull out your phone and delete the picture in front of him. They're all gone. Desmond looks relieved at the picture gone. Thank goodness. If Ia found out... Ha! He really is naive. As if you didn't have a bunch of backups. Luckily, you made it just in time. You won't let Milo escape. You really are horrible, you know. Everyone's going to find out about how horrible... Oh, are you sure about that? This secret was only the tip of the iceberg, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Besides, I did you a favor. It's better not to make your girlfriend into your ex, right? I know the history you had in high school. Desmond seems to panic at the thought of it being exposed. I don't understand why you're doing all of this. Manipulating him into depending on you to this degree. Why would you do that? Everyone has a love they want, right? Some people are willing to settle with less, but I'm not that kind of person. That's all there is to it. Let's not try to do that again, Desmond. Believe me. I'll make your life a living nightmare if you pull something like that again. Before he can ask you anything else, you walk away from him, satisfied. What has Milo gotten himself into? Oh, the worst romance ever, it seems. For a while, it seemed as if everything had died down. The drama that had occurred that day circulated for a bit, but it was quickly shut down. After all, how could kind, charismatic Milo ever do such a thing? Similarly, Desmond disappeared for a bit. Perhaps he was afraid of what happened. Perhaps he was afraid of you. Ryan had to, after his public scolding, hid away from the public eye. Ever since, Milo would never hesitate to praise you, to defend you. Because to him, you were his everything. You had saved him once again. And so, days went on as normal. Schoolwork, fun activities, some dates. Well, at least until one of the big projects for your class. It seems Ryan has appeared again, and he's my partner for the big project. Milo fiddles with his earring for a bit. While outwardly he looks uninterested, you can tell he's thinking deeply about something. Well, it's too bad that we can't get any dirt on him, huh? I'm sure. I could find something that could destroy him for good. He smiles sideways, his eyes deep with vengeance. I mean, it seems you know what to say to make him stutter. Sure I do, but it won't stop him from coming after you for that long. And I like to have some surprises up my sleeve as well. That's a bit boring, my pet. As much as I'd love to destroy him in that way, my pet, I would like to actually pass this class, and the project is a huge part of my grade. So let's hold off of it for now, alright? Milo makes a slight tisk sound with his mouth. But that's no fun, my pet. Can't we rattle him up just a bit? If I can't get this project done well, then I won't be staying in this university anymore. Ryan's such a buzzkill. I was really hoping to discard what's left of that ego of his. I know you'd like to see him crumble too. Of course. I would love nothing more than to watch him writhe. However, we're supposed to be meeting up in Cafe 15 to talk about what we're going to do. And I'd like you to come with, just in case. Well, who knows if he'll pull something. He grins a little too wide. A little too happy at the situation. We are destined to be together. Isn't that right, Cryptid? You don't have a choice but to love me. The response sends shivers down your spine. You've trained him a little too well. As we walked in, we see Ryan sitting at one of the booths. His face twists from contempt to annoyance when he sees that Milo has entered with you. Strange, he's not in our group, is he? Milo and I are a package deal. Or are you jealous that you've suddenly become the third wheel? Ryan looks as if he's going to cause a scene, but Milo leans back, casually. He strokes your hair and looks at him tauntingly. Were you going to do something to my lovely Cryptid? Ryan grits his teeth and sits back. Whatever, let's just hurry up and get this project finished. For the next couple of hours, you and Ryan planned out your project. The two of you ordered some food and drinks, seemingly chatting nonchalantly about what to do. But underneath it all, you felt you were pointing knives at each other's throats. Well, it's not as if this wasn't a world we weren't used to, battling with words. Milo would scroll through his phone nonchalantly as we talked with each other. But it felt as if a part of him was always watching. Gee, I wonder why. It's not like we trained him to be like this or anything. As if finding a perfect moment of weakness. Scribbling down Ryan's ramblings, your spoon slipped and fell onto the ground. I'll get it for you, my pet. He ducks under the table and searches for a bit, before placing the spoon on the table and lifting his head. Your spoon, my wonderful boyfriend. He looks at Ryan and smirks condescendingly. Ugh, this lovey-dovey crap makes me want to barf. Then barf already, dang it. His hand taps on the table a bit before looking at his phone. His eyes dart around for a second before standing. Well, I got a jet. See you losers later. Grabbing his backpack, he leaves the two of us alone. Finally. You chug down the glass of water after he leaves and slam it on the table. Somehow it tastes bitter, like your disgust for him. He didn't even pay his portion of the bill, that lowlife. I'm tracking him right now. He's not that far. In fact, we might get some more money out of him with these pictures I found. Fun, but let's save that for later. He might find out you've been tracking him, and he might turn off his location. Sighing, you fork over the money and you and Milo head back. Let's walk back to the dorms. I have to get some stuff before the next class. Milo smiles and holds your hand as you walk. But as you walk... Yeah, I was gonna say, why did our water feel bitter? Why did our water taste bitter? That's usually a sign of a certain something. Something doesn't feel right. You start to falter, your legs feeling weak, and... My pet? Everything goes dark. You wake up, staring at the ceiling of your dorm, laying on the bed. Milo is stroking your hair gently as you sleep. My pet, you'll be okay, right? You look so peaceful sleeping. I wish I could look at you for an eternity. You touch his hair, and he looks at you, his eyes wide with shock. He hugs you suddenly, clinging on to you. You're okay. His arms tighten as if ever afraid to let you go. My pet. What happened? You passed out suddenly after we left the cafe. Did I now? You recall Ryan tapping his fingers against the table. His eyes were darting at the glass. Oh, I see what happened. That snake really has it out for me, huh? Wow, how totally unexpected. I knew he was up to something. He grits his teeth and I can hear them grinding against each other. Now, my pet, you'll hurt yourself that way. You caress his head and he leans into your hand. Cute. It seems that Ryan must have drugged me. Must have been the water. Dropping my spoon was the perfect opportunity for him to do so. How oddly clever of him. You're such a ding-dong, Milo. It should have been me. I should have been the one who was drugged. He clenches onto the bedsheets and his grip causes him to shake. Disgusting. He really doesn't know how to leave it alone, huh? Well, he should be given a taste of his own medicine. You tap your forehead as you think. What would make Ryan suffer more? Drugging him back would be ample payback. You do have access to the chemistry lab. Watching Ryan shudder as his body collapses on himself as he did to you would be entertaining. Or maybe he might have other secrets he's hiding. He might see it coming if we attempt to drug him back. Perhaps Milo's past of stalking might be a benefit to us after all. Choices. Milo looks at you eagerly as you make your decision. The best way to get payback. So now I think this is where it's gonna start branching for endings on this particular route that we've chosen. I think I want to stalk him first. He would catch us too easily. Stalking is the way to go. Stalking him? Well, stalking is more of something I did in my past. And isn't that perfect, my pet? You already have experience. This time it's for a different purpose, though, and quite a noble one. Won't it be great to get some vengeance for me? He beams, happy that he's being useful. Of course, my pet. I won't fail you. He smiles with an unsettling look in his eyes. I like how the screen went red. You walk around your dorm trying to look for what you might need for this endeavor. You think carefully about what you would need to stalk Ryan. Cameras, darker clothing. Are we stalking him in person? I've already been following him everywhere online. Turns out, he's quite infamous. Makes me wonder how he dates at all. Is that a jab on me? Of course not, my pet. I can't accept it any other way. His eyes flash a dangerous expression before settling back to his generally happy facade. I hope you haven't been keeping tabs on me as well. Well, if you had, it's not as if I would mind. He laughs a bit, if only dryly. Maybe I have. Maybe I haven't. Who's to say? He's so much better at hiding his true intentions now. You were pleased at the result of this notion. But we'd have to be a bit more hidden, so I got these. You pulled out some matching hats that you had gotten. I think you would look good in them. Ah, a gift for me. A gift for me, my pet. I'm so happy. He tries to play it cool. But you can see that his cheeks have reddened quite a bit. It was hard finding something nice for you to hide in. After all, you look good in everything. For a moment he seems caught off guard, his eyes widening a bit, before immediately going back to his normal smile. Aww. He puts on the hat and happily looks at you. If that's the case, I don't mind you choosing all of my clothes. I want to become everything that you want me to be. Anything that will make you happy. Whoa. His breathing seemed to be hitched, as if he was imagining being adored by you. Maybe after we're finished. So then, how about we enact some revenge? It's what I've been waiting for. I can't wait. Good, let's get started. For a while, we followed Ryan around, secretly and with gentle steps. Enough that he would never know it was us. Oh. But obvious enough to know that someone was watching him. At first, it wasn't anything harmless, in fact. We watched him, but never did anything to him. But Milo had other plans. Online, he talked about his experience of Ryan bullying him and how it affected him. And it spread like wildfire. The amount of videos and comments defending poor, innocent Milo, he used to be, and antagonizing brutish, awful Ryan. Milo really knew how to play a crowd, it seemed. But it wasn't just that. Milo would call him over and over again, taunting him, threatening him, in a soft manner, but nonetheless terrifying. Ryan, do you remember when you threw a brick at my head and I had a concussion for a week? Oh my god, well, do you think I could do something similar to you? I have a rock that I think would fit perfectly in your head. Yes, softly taunting him, I hope you're not thinking of leaving your dorm today to hang out with your friends. It would be terrible if someone burned up your new couch while you were gone. Maybe it would be better if you simply died and were reborn another person. I'm sure the world would be happier for it. Milo's words were simply the drops of water that caused the ripples. Soon there were others that tried to threaten him through text, calls, anything. He made others do the dirty work for him. How clever. Sadly, it made it hard for you two to do your projects together. In fact, it almost seemed as if you were the last of his more positive interactions. Ryan, are you doing all right? I heard that Milo posted a pretty damning video. Well, not that you were all that kind to him before. I want it to stop. No one will look at me anymore, no matter how much I block or change my number. They always find me. How long do I have to live like this? I don't. He was practically on the verge of crying, the way he shook when he was talking. Please, just make Milo stop. Anything. I'll do anything. Anything? Anything at all? The thought of it makes you smile. All right. Milo has been out of control lately. I can't promise that I can make it go away completely, but I will try to. You have my word. Upon hearing this, his shaking finally stopped. Please, please. Let's do well on our project together, all right? Milo, as it seemed, never took his eyes off of you either. It seemed that he would always bump into you at random times, and acted as if it were a coincidence. Even when you went to places you would normally never go, he would always find himself there. He always knew where you were, always followed you. Even in the dorms, you started to notice that things were a bit off. Items were slightly shifted in ways you didn't remember. Things that you had for a long time suddenly looked newer, as if someone were replacing them one by one. Chill, dude. I'm turning that down. Perhaps you were being paranoid, but you were losing things, and quite quickly at that. If you were a bit more oblivious, you could have convinced yourself you were being clumsy. You always asked Milo if he knew where you'd left things, and he would laugh and hand you an exact copy. He always seemed to have exactly what you needed. Ah, did you lose your textbook? You're so clumsy. It's cute. Here, I bought you another one. Oh dear, did you find your stuffed animal ripped? I did hear that sometimes there are rats in the walls. Luckily, I bought you another one. Aren't I the best boyfriend? Silly, you dropped your pencil case when you came over yesterday. I brought it just in case. Just like that, you were being watched constantly. You had pressed into your favorite stuffed animal's eye one day to find a camera and split it open to find a recorder. You smiled a bit. He really was getting better at this. You dozed off every night with the thought of Milo watching you, that he was always there. But there was one more thing that you wanted to check. He had invited you to his dorm to hang out for a bit. Milo, could you tell me where the bathroom is? Of course. Down the hall. As you left, you snuck into his room to dig through his backpack. Pictures. Photos of you in your dorm, out in your class, and from inside your pencil case. Items from things that he had made an exact duplicate of, that he was sure you would never notice. Notes of locations where you had gone and were to meet up, or places he had convinced you to go to. And of course, a recording device, playing your voice over and over again. The thought of such an obsession made you happy beyond belief. There was only ever you in his heart, his eyes, his soul. Soon, you thought, he would be the perfect love for you. It took a while to convince Milo to cease his actions. Even when he promised to do so, you would see him go behind your back to continue. I see, Milo. You do want me to fail then. You want me to move schools so that we're forced to separate. Is that what you're telling me? But I'm not doing anything wrong. It's just karma at this point. And besides, I can't stop the public from attacking him. That's true, but it makes me lonely, you know? All this time where you constantly call and text Ryan. All those people that keep coming up to you, talking with you for hours. Strange. It's almost like you've become obsessed with Ryan instead of me. You could see that this struck a nerve with him. Good. My pet, you are my world. How could I live without you? I want to see you every second that I'm alive. And everyone else is just in the way. He bites his fingers nervously, as if he realized what he had done. To be by your side. To always be with you. I'll stop. And so, with that, Ryan was safe. For now. Milo started to swerve away from people that tried to talk to him, ignoring them in favor of you. Slowly, it seemed the public got bored of harassing Ryan. And in turn, Milo was always there, watching you. More things would be taken and replaced. You could feel his eyes watching throughout your dorm. Peaceful, you thought. And so, for a while, nothing else out of the blue went on. It was always just you and Milo. Things, of course, would disappear and reappear at random for you. You were sure Milo was replacing things so he could keep them. You had even found more cameras in nooks and crannies of your dorm. And you had found that he had even installed some sort of stalker shrine somewhere in his dorm as well, filled with pictures of you, recordings of you, items of value, items found in the trash, a doll, all of his attention on you. Yet despite all of this, nothing seemed to change. He would watch over you, never turning his eyes. But you wanted more. Just one final push. He was walking around campus, waving to people as he passed by. He kept looking at you, smiling. Do you want to say something, my pet? Milo stopped for a second and cocked his head. How could I live without you, my pet? You've made me into something completely different. I'm so happy. Not only do people finally notice me, but they don't treat me like some gum they found on their shoe. He hugs you suddenly, shaking. How could I ever part from you? If you were to leave... He looks at you again. You'll never feel at ease again. There's no way we would part, right? You breathed out slowly as you heard his words. Poor, simple Milo. His fate was sealed for good. Just one more push. I wish that were true, Milo, that we could be together until our graves. But let's be honest here, my pet. Do you really think that will happen? Do you really think I would never break up with you? Milo. Why? I did everything right. I wanted to be together. My pet, what did I do wrong? Did I make you angry, or was I too clingy? Whatever it is, I'll fix it. I'll do anything. I'll change the way I look, the way I act. Did you prefer the pathetic me? I could go back to that. It's okay. I know your type. I've been paying attention. And I haven't been talking to anyone else. My eyes, my soul, my essence itself. It's all yours. Milo. I can't go back to what it was. If you leave, they'll just hurt me again. Living every day as if the next didn't matter, wondering why I even bothered to live. No, I can't. Please. Milo! Your own snap caused Milo to flinch. It was the first time you had ever raised your voice at him. I don't want to leave you. I want to be with you until death do us part. But time is not kind to us. We could drift apart or fight. No, we won't. Then what about those around us? Do you think they won't try to tear us apart? You leaned closer to him, next to his ear. My pet, it's the world around us that wants to take us apart. They're always planning, scheming, watching us fall apart. Don't you see? There's no way to escape it. You lean back, closing your eyes as if contemplating. Well, maybe there is a way. Milo's eyes light up. He leaned closer to you. What is it? Whatever it is. I refuse to let them take us. You cocked your head slightly. The final push. The only way for us to stay together forever is... Well, I have a hunch that one of these is gonna include murder. Let's just, get rid of them first. This world is a cruel place, isn't it, my pet? All this rot that tries to tear us apart. Then there's only one thing for you to do. Destroy them all. When they're all gone, then I will be yours. And just like that, Milo's eyes had changed. You weren't sure, but it felt like a haunting red. Ready to pick them off, one by one. Milo, you understand what I mean, right? I'm sure if it ever comes to that, you'll know what to do. Of course, my pet. It's all so clear now. The only way to save you is to get rid of all those that oppose us. It's so easy. I can learn everything about them and get rid of them without even a second glance. You can't help but smile happily at the results. This next part will be fun. It had taken a while for you to track him down properly, but there he was, in your line of sight. You walked up to him quietly. Ryan. He flinched at your voice and started to back away. What do you want from me? We're done. Done, you hear me? I've already sent transfers to another college, so... Aw, Ryan, what are you so afraid of? That Milo might come after you? His face was full of nothing but rage towards you. You were the one who forced me to bully him, to do all of those things. What are you talking about, Ryan? I never said that. Or at least you have no proof. Seriously, Cryptid? Haven't you done enough already? All this training for Milo. Getting me to bully Milo so you could swoop in? Do you think you're some kind of savior or something? My entire internet presence was ruined. The kind of hate mail I got? Telling me to end myself, trudging up all of my old pictures? Just leave me alone. I did everything that you asked, right? You smiled slightly and he snapped at you. All of this, it's all your fault. Why those people died? Why I'm still in this situation? I wish you would just die. Leave me alone. Please don't make yourself into such a saint. Weren't you the one who wanted to prank all of those people, even though you knew it was dangerous? And who was the one who shifted the blame to others so you wouldn't be jailed? Don't you think it's the least you could do after you cheated on me? Come on, just admit it. You were the one who resigned yourself to this punishment. You have no one to blame but yourself. You refused to break up with me. I didn't want to be with you anymore. He's hyperventilating from the stress. It was such a joy to watch him struggle. Just like when you were together with him, it was so entertaining watching him flounder about, watching him cry, watching him beg, forcing him to go through such lengths to get rid of you. When you got bored of him, you tricked him into cheating with someone. He was never your perfect love in the first place. Never would have been. The only hope for failures like that is to crush them to dust. Fine, you win. He stops for a second, not believing what he heard. What? You're right. You did what I asked you, and I promised I would let you go. His eyes tell you he doesn't believe you. He knows you far too well. Well, after this one thing, I knew there was a catch. You pull out a USB, and Ryan's eyes widen with fear. Is that? It is. The last piece of evidence that proves that you were the one who killed those people. It would be a shame if it went into the wrong hands. Ryan lunged at you, desperately trying to grab the USB from your hands, but you dodged him. That's the spirit. Give it to me. Give it to me. I will. Pry it from my hands. Fight me if you have to. Take it from me, and it's all yours. Without another word, Ryan tackled you to the ground. He tried to swipe at the USB over and over again. You struggled to move with his weight on you. He took the USB with ease. Finally! But Ryan's victory didn't last for long. Milo showed up next to him, his eyes glazed over. He tore the USB away from him without breaking eye contact. Why are you here, Ryan? Don't you know that you're interfering with my boyfriend? If I were you, I would run before I get angry. Milo's eyes were on fire. and he seemed to flinch as if from the heat. Without another word, Ryan leaves. When Milo looks at you, you can feel your body burn. It feels as if someone is shoving your head closer and closer to a fire. The only thing left is your reflection flickering in his eyes. And then he smiles. Don't worry, my pet. I'll make sure that he and the others, that nothing will take us apart. You hear him, surely, but all you can see is the red in his eyes. Milo was acting strange nowadays, and not in the way you wanted. He was talking, socializing with the enemy. Somehow, somewhere, he had befriended Ryan, and the two became inseparable. Even worse than that, every person who you had hated, despised, even found annoying, he seemed to have gotten in contact with them as well, and with his silver tongue gotten them to join the same courses as you. You should have been enraged, angered. You should have torn him apart. But the way that he talked, the way that he would look at you, the way his eyes shone a rageful, hateful red, as if he was looking at insects that needed to be squashed. Something about his bloodlust made you trust in what he was planning. Perhaps you just needed to suck it up. At least until you could gut Milo personally. You just had to find your hunting... I love how we're actually imagining gutting him, not figuratively. Well, look at who it is. Easier said than done, you thought. He kicked the side of your leg roughly, and you fell over to the ground with a loud thud. Still a weakling who doesn't know their place, huh? From what I recall, you were begging and sobbing like a neglected runt, blah blah blah. This time, a kick to your chest, leaving you kneeling on the floor, gasping for air. You should be grateful I haven't gutted you yet. Thank Milo. He's the one begging at my feet to make you happy. Milo? Begging? That can't be right. The only one he should be begging for is you. Ryan smirked before walking away from your state on the floor. You told Milo about the encounter that day, and yet he said nothing. Just wait until exam day, Milo had told you with a hum. Fine. If Milo doesn't get his act together by then, you didn't need an imperfect love. He won't wake up to see the birds the next morning. You would make sure of it. Soon after the day of the exam came, Milo came up to you smiling happily. And what are you so happy for, Milo? My gift for you is finally done. Is that so? He was pissing you off. You slammed your hands against the wall, pinning him down. Huh? What are you? Milo, do you know the hell I had to go through this semester because of you? To watch as Ryan harassed me every day. How pitiful it was to see you kneel before the man I saved you from. To see you ignore me time and time again. To hang out with him and other insects. If you hated me so much, you should have just said so. Milo stood there in shock, his breath hitched in his throat. His eyes were filled with that burning hatred again. Before he smiled with a forced grin. It's all right, my pet. I promise that we will never have to talk to him again after today. It'll be something that you'll never forget. I promise. You walked back from the wall and turned away from him. You better hope so. If you're lying, it won't end well for you. You walked into the lecture hall, placing your backpack on the floor as you sat down. I'm going to text you right before the exam. Please follow my instructions for the gift. He had whispered to you before you had walked into the hall. You closed your eyes and imagined squeezing the eyes from his sockets as he bled out. If this gift was just a bit lackluster, then that's the fate he would get. You waited and watched the other students file in, the worthless insects that Milo had gathered, whispering and laughing, annoying. You waited and waited, and soon the exam was about to start. Just as the professor was passing out the papers, you felt your phone buzz in your pocket. Please leave class, my pet. You scoffed. What a gift. Leave now, please. I'm begging you. Why? There's nothing that could save him now. I need you. You stood up suddenly, the eyes of your classmates turning to you. I'm sorry, I have to leave. Quick bathroom break, you said with a forced smile. Before anyone could say anything, you dashed into the hallway. As you stormed out, your shoulder brashly hit Ryan's. Watch where you're... His smile widened when he saw who had bumped into him. Oh, what's this? Are you running away from your exam? I don't have time for this. You tried to brush past him, but he grabbed your arm. Hey, don't you know it's rude not to apologize to someone you so rudely bumped into? Apologize. Why would I apologize to... He socked you in the face and you fell to the ground with a thud. Don't act so high and mighty. Apologize. You spat in his face. He slammed your face against the wall, your ears ringing from the impact. Looks like your attitude hasn't changed yet, huh? Even after your new project crashed and burned. You just never learn, do you? You grit your teeth as the phone in your pocket buzzed rapidly. I need you. Sorry. Oh, what was that? You gnashed your teeth. I said I'm sorry. Ryan gasped dramatically and laughed. before kicking you to the ground and walking away, laughing. You breathed in slowly, before walking out without a word. It took you a while, but you spotted Milo. My pet, Milo flinched when he saw your state, ragged and bruised. Milo. Milo trembled when he heard your voice, sharp as if impaling his heart. You stopped, then looked up at him, unblinking. This is worth it, isn't it, Milo? He grabbed your hands, clasping onto them tightly. I was so worried you wouldn't come out in time. It would be a horrible gift for my pet if he didn't make it out in time. Before you could even take a single breath, you felt the pressure. You felt it crush you like an aluminum can. The ringing in your ears wouldn't stop as you saw the shapes of bodies scrambling about. And then you heard the rest of the sound, like something had struck the world with thunder. As you turned around, the building was burning and smoke was suffocating the air. You could almost feel the heat from here. Milo dragged you away with the crowd, the screaming finally able to settle in your ears. He put your hand on his face, nuzzling into your palm. Aha, seeing an explosion is a lot more hair-raising in person, but it's so much more exhilarating than I thought. The smile on his face was too wide. Who knew Ryan was so dull-witted? Just a tiny spark can make your insides burn. It was quite an ordeal to get him to go back to smoking again. Even harder to properly run a gas leak. I wish I could have seen his face when he realized what he had done. He looked up at you as you caressed his face. Worry creased his features. Did you like it, my pet? You stared at him vacantly. All of those people burned into an unforgiving hell. How could you do that? Milo's eyes widened. He was shaking, afraid of disappointment. But you smiled, just as wide as he did, without letting me in on the fun. You hugged him tightly as his face turned a dark red. Oh, what a wonderful gift. Milo relaxed for a second and hugged back. It's all thanks to you. Isn't it amazing what you've turned me into? I couldn't be happier. Please praise me. He cooed playfully, nuzzling his face into your palm. You did well, my pet. Better than I could have predicted. I wonder what we should do now. I'm sure there are some lucky survivors in the wreckage. Would it be better to snuff them out, or perhaps just watch the aftermath of it all? The glorious flames. You laughed. I'm sure either would be fun. What should we do, my pet? He intertwined his hand with yours. I'm sure either would be a blast. You and I. There's nothing else I would want more in this world. Wouldn't I throw away everything to be with you? Let's stay together for the rest of eternity. There's nothing I would have wanted more. The red in his eyes shone brighter than before, an unbearable insanity that consumed him, all thanks to you. There was nothing left for either of you, and you only had each other. Such a wonderfully delightful rush. Together, your love would burn like the perfect love it was. A perfect burning love, and oh, that's spooky. Now I have 3 more to get in this route, so that's gonna take a bit. Now we're back here, and we're going to get him to protect us. No matter what, the world will always find a way to take us apart. It's cruel, isn't it? Then the solution is simple. Just make sure I can't be taken away. Make it so I'm yours. And just like that. Milo's eyes had changed. It felt as if you would simply freeze in place, looking at him. As if he wanted to do everything to please you. I think you know what I'm talking about, right, Milo? Sometimes those kinds of things simply can't be helped. You have always been the only one for me. I was foolish to think otherwise. Everything about you drives me crazy. I can't live without having you near me. You nearly laughed at the results that you had produced. You couldn't wait until he broke. You walked up to him quietly. Ryan. He flinched at your voice and started to back away. What do you want from me? His face was full of nothing but rage towards you. So we, decide to hand him the evidence of him getting people killed, and it felt painful when you tried to stand up. It seems like Ryan may have bruised you while trying to get the USB. He didn't seem to care or even notice as he held the USB victoriously in his hand. He also didn't notice when Milo loomed before him. Ryan flinched upon hearing Milo say his name. Hi, What are you? He looked over at you, his eyes open at the state you were in. What did you do, Ryan? What did you do? His loud voice caused everyone to halt to a freeze. It was rare that Milo would raise his voice at anyone, but the way he growled as tears streamed down his face made you excited. How could you hurt my pet? How could I let this happen? His breathing grew rapid as he started hyperventilating. I can't wait to watch you writhe as I break you. I know everything about you, how to make your life miserable until the end. I won't let you hurt him any more. Trust me. His eyes, his piercing stare, were ice cold. Ryan hesitated, not sure of what to do. This is the last you'll see of me. I promise. Without another word, Ryan scrambled away, leaving you and him alone. Milo, How could I let this happen? He was clutching your hand so hard, it started to hurt. You were the one that saved me, and I couldn't even save you from him. Someone as godly as you. His eyes were void of life, like someone had gripped his very soul and crushed it. I don't deserve to breathe the same air as you. I don't deserve to stand where you stand. His breathing finally calmed down, the erratic behavior fading from him. I should have known. I could never be perfect for you. Before you could say anything, he dashed off. You tried to go after him, but the pain caused you to stumble. This is a problem. All that work. With no other choice, you dragged yourself back to the dorm to rest. For a while, you didn't get to see Milo, but you knew he was always watching. Things of yours were still missing after all. The cameras still working inside of your dorm. And yet, it was quiet and, frankly, rather lonely without him. So, you left him a note. Milo, I miss you. Soon, the next day, there was another note on your table, along with what looked like a box of chocolates. I miss you too, my pet. I wish I could tear out my heart to give it to you, but I'm not worthy. Whatever you want, whatever you need, I'll give them all happily to you. And so the notes and gifts became commonplace for you two. You would leave gifts throughout the dorm, in your backpack, and on your bed. Some items were romantic, flowers, candies, even little cheesy plushes. But some were more disturbing. Pictures of you at your classes, notes with your name scribbled over and over again about how unworthy he was. What looked to be a necklace made from his hairs and tooth. As the days went on, the gifts and notes became more erratic. Drawings of you and repeated messages in blood became more common. He would give gifts of his saliva and tears, as well as his fingernails in a strange fashion, mixed with yours. You never saw him, but you knew he was always watching. Whenever you were just about to buy something that you've just ran out of, you would find the item on your desk the next day. If someone was giving you trouble, you would find bits and pieces of their clothes, hair, and even teeth on your doorstep, along with a note lovingly stating that he had brought you gifts. You always felt him watching, the sounds of crawling within the walls. It felt comforting knowing that nothing could touch you, that you had someone who worshipped you as if his life depended on it. But then again, how far could he go? You decided to test it one day, scribbling out a note in detail. Just like usual, it was gone the next day, replaced with a note and a heart drawn in blood. And then, for a few days, it was silent. The note stopped humming. Your things stopped disappearing. At least until one day. You found a box inside of your house. There was a strange smell to it when you approached it, and when you opened the box, an amputated hand greeted you. Oh my God, with an eye necklace wrapped carefully around its fingers. Goodbye, Ryan. Inside it, a note. Just as you wanted. I got you just what you wanted, my pet. I did a good job, didn't I? It's what you wanted, right? Please, praise me. Praise me. Praise me, 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 praise me. I love you, 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 I love you. Over and over again. You looked up, smiling, and stared straight into the camera, hidden in the walls. Oh, my pet. You did so wonderfully. I love it so much. I'll turn that up, you need to hear it. You could hear the heavy breathing within the walls as you praised him. You were worried at first that Milo would have left you, that all of your work would be undone. And yet, you couldn't ask for a better circumstance. Oh, my pet, you truly are my perfect love. A perfect love beyond the walls. And, woo, now we have to get the drugging endings. Oh boy, this game is dark. I love it. Not me accidentally resizing the window. Alright, here we are, back here, and now we're choosing, what revenge to have on Ryan. We stalked him first, now let's drug him back. Wouldn't it be fun to give him a taste of his own medicine? Drugging him. My, that does sound fun. Think of all the applications I could use it for. Playing with your strengths is always a good thing, my pet. Won't it be fun to learn about such things on our little study date? Oh, are you asking me out so soon? He teases you, but you can see that he's giddy about the idea. Well then, shall we have fun on our date? Let's get going then. Despite your wobbly legs, you felt exhilarated at the thought of Ryan's face with fear. You walk out of the dorm room and Milo follows suit. You walk with Milo to a seemingly quiet part of the campus. Unlocking an abandoned lab, Milo trails in behind you. Since when did you have access to this lab? Since a very kind professor saw my interest and decided to give me access. Ah, so you took it off of someone then, huh? I can't pull the wool over your eyes then, huh? Are you disappointed in me, Milo? He takes your hand and kisses up your arm. Okay, Gomez. How can I ever be disappointed in you, my pet? You were the one who saved me from Ryan. So now I'll be the one who will save you. No matter what. Waltzing into the lab, the beakers and other glass tubes stood, watching us. Well, then let's get started. You think back at what it felt like when you were drugged. Dizziness, a bit of drowsiness. The way he did it so fast, and the fact that you couldn't see it in the water. Ah, looks like that bastard learned from before and actually made the proper dosage of GHB. He's done this before. Ah, you're right. You weren't here last year. There were a couple of deaths due to overdosing on drugs. A lot of students were thrown into jail, but there were rumors that Ryan was the one behind it all. Now I have a feeling that we might have been. You could still recall Ryan's face when he got accused. It wasn't the face of someone that was innocent. Milo laughs sharply, interrupting your train of thought. Then he's really getting what he deserves then, huh? I can't wait. Don't be so hasty. I wouldn't want you to get hurt, my pet. You hand him over some safety goggles and he puts them on. Do I look good? Very. He giggles, happy with the compliment. Now then, shall we start? GHB is probably the most common one. We have the ingredients already. Luckily, you had experience with it before and knew what to do. With the materials here, it seemed that it would be rather easy to make. Ah, I've always wanted to make chloroform as well, though it might not be that good in this situation. I suppose it would be different than in the movies. You might as well suffocate them with how long that would take. Unfortunately, I still need him alive for the project. Maybe next time, then? His voice sounded like he was joking, but his eyes told a different story. Maybe for fun, I'll show you how to make it in a bit. You pull out a silicone packet you had taken from the seaweed you had eaten earlier. If anyone young is watching this, do not try this stuff. Do not make this stuff. Just saying. I'll have to check if it's enough, but ketamine is fun to make as well. And as for this, you pull out another packet from your pocket. Seems like it's pretty easy to get Rohypnol, if you can pretend you need it for anxiety. You sure have very varied interest. Oh, is there some hesitation I hear, my pet? It was a joke. You know that I only have admiration for you. Just thinking of Ryan's face after he realized what he's done is so... He drools hungrily. Tantalizing. You stretch out, prepared to teach Milo the ropes. Shall we? For a couple of days, you and Milo would sneak inside of the labs. You had to be careful to clean up afterwards, but considering how secluded this lab was, nobody ever came in. Milo, as usual, was a fast learner. He picked up everything naturally. At the same time, you and Ryan finished your project together. You had convinced Ryan to have a drink once the both of you had finished. A perfect opportunity. How surprising, I guess. Since we're almost done, he wants to celebrate early. I'll be a bit more careful this time, and... You hold out some white powder to show to Milo. Get a bit of vengeance too then. Well, Milo, are you coming with? I'll need backup in case something goes wrong while we're talking. Actually, if you don't mind, may I do the honors? You tilt your head inquisitively. He wants to talk to Ryan. What a surprise. Are you sure, my pet? It would be terrible if a repeat of last time happened. I'd rather you not get hurt. I won't let him get the best of me this time. I promise you, my pet. You see his eyes fill with determination. You can't seem to say no to it. All right, Milo, as you wish. We arrived at the bar that Ryan had invited us to. Hey, it's... His fake smile dropped as he saw that Milo had joined you. You too. You looked at him condescendingly. Sorry, did you not think I would bring him? I thought it would just be us two, you know, 'cause we actually worked on the project. Ah, well, sorry about that. You smiled in a fake manner, and he glares at Milo. Milo doesn't even look at him as he scrolls through his phone. Ryan glares at him and turns to you. Ryan droops down closer to you and whispers, "Cryptid, don't you think this is too much? I mean, all of this for him? I'm not sure I like what you're trying to say, Ryan." Ryan looks up suddenly to hear Milo laughing while looking at his phone. "Never mind. When have you ever listened to me anyways? It'll end up badly, you know." Thanks for the warning. But I know what I'm doing." He turns to the bartender to call for our drinks. How nostalgic. It seems you still remember my favorite. "Well, yeah. I'm not a monster, but we are." The barkeep taps our drinks onto the counter, and we cheer to finishing our project. "To us and another year of our professors torturing us." He puts the glass to his lips. But before Ryan could drink, Milo slung his arm over his shoulder. What are you doing?" "This? Oh, this. I just wanted to thank you so much for helping my boyfriend with this project. After all, you really saved his grade and I can't thank you enough." Despite how friendly his words seemed, there was an aftertaste of malice. Though it seemed like Ryan didn't pick up on it. "Oh, that. Psh, it was nothing. Though that's not the reaction I was expecting. You planning something?" Milo makes a quick expression of anger before snapping back to his cheerful facade. "What are you talking about? Do I look like the type to hold grudges? I mean, I can't be mad at a Galaxy Wars fan." "What? You watched that too?" "Of course, what person wouldn't? In fact, there was a new preview earlier today." "Really? Show me." Milo pulls up the preview and lets Ryan watch it on his phone, and uses the other hand to slip something into his drink. He winks at you mischievously before stirring it slightly as the preview ends. "Shh! These previews are too short." "Unfortunate, right? Guess we'll have to wait for the next one." But I shouldn't be interrupting your time together, so I'll just sit way over there, watching." He smiles as he walks away, but it leaves shivers down Ryan's spine. He looks at the drink and hesitantly looks at you. "What's the matter, Ryan? Let's drink to our success." "Right." He looks at it again, then closes his eyes and chugs it. He taps the glass on the table and walks off. "Oh, where are you going, friend?" I have class. Drinking before class? Really? What was it that you used to say? That going to class is a waste of time, to say it nicely. That is, why don't you just stay? His eyes flash a dangerous expression, and Ryan looks towards you. Milo, let's let him go. Just seeing his ugly face is enough to make me puke. You cling onto Milo's arm and his face changes to an expression of adoration. Plus, if we leave now, we can spend more time together, right? You trace your finger on his chest, and Milo's eyes are fixed in worship on you. Ryan slips out the back. My pet, why didn't you just say so? Where did that rat, Ryan, go? Still focusing on him instead of me. He looks back at you, gleeful. No, of course not. You're my entire world. My everything. Then you shouldn't even so much as think about another person. Understand? Come now, Milo. Let me buy you a drink. You did such a good job. Dragging his attention away from Ryan, you meet Milo's gaze. You just wanted him to look at you. And only you. And so, college life went on as normal. Whenever you saw Ryan, he would hurriedly walk towards the opposite direction. And Milo, he started to invite you out for drinks more often. He said that he wanted to get to know you more, but you knew that wasn't the truth. Every now and then, you would see him putting something in your drink. It was cute, thinking that he could hide it from you. Really, it was. It made you proud that he had taken your lessons into heart. So you drank it, nevertheless. The kind of glee he had whenever you did was entertaining, and you slowly felt weaker. Milo would feign ignorance, asking if you were okay. You must be studying too much. Let me take care of you. And you'd be brought over to his dorm for him to nurse you. Slowly, he started to take care of other things, like your meals, your things. You weren't allowed to do certain things. Milo would simply get anything you wanted, hand in knee, anything you wanted or needed, comforting, yet restricting. A cat playing with his prey. It's really fun being the mouse, isn't it? It was at least an entertaining game to you. At least it is to you. That's why you created this game. Perfect. And so, for a while, nothing else out of the blue went on. It was always just you and Milo. Milo's smooth charade never seemed to dim. He smothered you with love. Almost too much so. Your body seemed to have regained its strength again. How annoying! It seemed regardless of what you do, he would never push onwards himself. despite him simply blowing air about how much he wanted you, it just wasn't enough. Isn't it time to take action, then, to finally make him what you wanted him to be? Just one final push. He was walking around campus, waving to people as he passed by. He kept looking at you, smiling. Do you want to say something, my pet? Milo stopped for a second and cocked his head. How could I live without you, my pet? You've made me into something completely different. I'm so happy. He hugs you suddenly, shaking. How could I ever part from you? Poor, simple Milo. His fate was sealed for good. Just one more push. I wish that were true, Milo. Whatever it is, I'll fix it. I'll do anything. Milo. I can't. I can't go back to what it was. If you leave, they'll just hurt me again. Milo. Your own snap caused Milo to flinch. It was the first time you had ever raised your voice at him. You leaned closer to him, next to his ear. My pet, it's the world around us that wants to take us apart. They're always planning, scheming, watching us fall apart, don't you see? There's no way to escape it. You lean back, closing your eyes as if contemplating. Well, maybe there is a way. Milo's eyes light up. He leaned closer to you. What is it? Whatever it is. I refuse to let them take us. You cocked your head slightly. The final push. The only way for us to stay together forever is... we'll get rid of them first? The world is a cruel place, isn't it, my pet? All this rot that tries to tear us apart. Then there's only one thing for you to do. Destroy them all. When they're all gone, then I will be yours. And just like that, Milo's eyes had changed. Milo, you understand what I mean, right? I'm sure if it ever comes to that, you'll know what to do. Of course, my pet. It's all so clear now. The only way to save you is to get rid of all that oppose us. I wonder what would be easier. Shrugging the cafeteria food or just the water supply. You can't help but smile happily at the results. This next part will be fun. You walked up to him quietly. Ryan. He flinched at your voice and started to back away. What do you want from me? You taught him how to drug me, trying to befriend me so I wouldn't notice? I don't want to think about what happened the next day. Just leave me alone. I did everything that you asked, right? You smiled slightly and he snapped at you. All of this, it's your fault. why those people died, why I'm still in this situation? I wish you would just die. Leave me alone. Fine. You win. Alright, we're gonna show him the USB. He's gonna fight us for it. Ryan lunged at you, desperately trying to grab the USB from your hands, but you dodged him. Ah, that's the spirit. Before he could celebrate any longer, though, Milo had grabbed his wrist. With a cold smile, he asked a simple question. Finally what, Ryan? Ryan went pale, seeing Milo's smiling face loom over him. It's nothing, Milo. Nothing at all. He croaked out an unconvincing lie. Then, if that's the case... Milo leaned in only inches away from Ryan's face. I would appreciate it if you never talked to my boyfriend again. Ryan runs away without turning back. He turns to you next. My pet, what were you two talking about? He said it with a slight smile, but there was a coldness to it. It seems he wanted to take me back, to use me as some sort of toy again. God, we're horrible. Ryan's not innocent, but I don't know if he entirely deserves this. But no matter how much I said no, he refused to let go. Thank goodness you showed up. All lies, of course, but Milo ate it up as if it were the words of his god. He smiled, eyes widened with an unsettling grin. Ah, I see. I see. Then I'm glad I was able to save you then, my pet. Please don't worry. I'll make sure that something like this will never happen again. A quiet declaration with the red burning in his eyes. Ever since Ryan ran away, Milo seemed to have been engrossed with a new hobby. As much as you tried to find out what he was doing, it seemed he was very secretive about it. Are you trying to find out what your present is going to be? It's a surprise for a reason. He would say in a sing-song manner, happy to see that you were so interested. He kept his gift under wraps, always checking his phone as if he were watching and waiting for something. Humming happily as he continued scrolling through his phone. He would always talk about how excited he was to gift it to you, how much you would love it. Until finally, he was finished. As a surprise, he blindfolded you and brought you somewhere secret. Ah, I'm so excited. I hope you like all of my hard work. Unveiling your eyes to behold, you stood in awe of what you saw. For a second, you thought there was a person sitting in the chair in front of you. But as you leaned in closer, you saw what it really was. A giant, jointed doll. An exact replicate of Ryan. The skin, the eyes, the clothes, they all looked exactly like him. Milo, this is amazing. How did you manage to make him look so convincing? Oh, I just had some very good references, let's say. He smiled happily, proud at the praise you had given him. You inspected the doll closer. It was so lifelike. How did he... you realized immediately. The eyes were moving, the pupils dilating and expanding as if he were trying to communicate. The face seemed wet, as if it were crying. Milo leaned closer to you. I'm sorry though, my pet. I actually ended up selling this one to a collector. I hope you're not too mad. You looked back at him and gave him a smile. No, of course not, my pet. How could I be mad at you? As an apology, I'll make as many dolls as you'd like. Any friend, foe, classmate, professor, I can make anyone into a doll for you. Anyone you want. Oh, how generous. You know, I was just thinking I'd like a nice doll of Desmond. Don't you think it would be a nice gift for his girlfriend? Wow, that's messed up. I think she would be thrilled at that kind of surprise, if that's what you wish. Who am I to deny my pet? You stared into his eyes. What a beautiful masterpiece you had made. A perfect doll maker, just for you. Any person could become your doll, to break or destroy, to make them cry of joy or fear. How delightful! Your hard work had spawned something so wonderful. Now you have your one and only perfect love. A doll's love. And, oh, that's so messed up. Well, let's get the last one on this route. Alright, now we're gonna have Milo protect us. I'm sure this will be just as terrifying as all the other ones we've done. Make it so I'm yours. And just like that. Milo's eyes had changed. It felt as if you would simply freeze in place, looking at him. As if he wanted to do everything to please you. Sometimes those kinds of things simply can't be helped. You have always been the only one for me. I was foolish to think otherwise. I wonder if there's a way I can make you never forget me, so that I'm always imprinted on your mind. You nearly laughed at the results that you had produced. You couldn't wait until he broke. Alright, and here we are with Ryan again. He scrambled to get it, only for him to be by the feet of Milo. Ryan tried to grab the USB, only for Milo to step on it. Hello there, Ryan. What do you think you're doing? Milo. I was just getting something from Cryptid. It's nothing big, really. I just... Silly, Ryan. That's not what I was asking. Let me rephrase it for you. Why are you near my pet? Whoa, I think that might be a glitch, but why are you talking to my boyfriend? Why are you even talking to my boyfriend? Get away from him. The utter disdain in Milo's eyes made Ryan shrink away. Look, I won't bother him anymore, okay? I swear. I was just about to leave. You won't see me anymore. Oh, I know, Ryan. Because if you don't... His eyes were cold, as if he was shooting daggers into Ryan. And then he smiled. I'll make sure that the hospital is your new permanent home. With that, Milo lifted his foot, and Ryan scrambled away. You looked at Ryan as he ran away, and then back at Milo. Thank you, my pet. Will you leave me like you left him? The question caught you off guard, and you were stunned into silence. Milo, what do you... No, you wouldn't. I'll find a way to be together forever. You couldn't put another word in as he walked away from you. A cold shiver went down your spine as he had looked at you. It felt as if something bad was about to happen. Something that you couldn't take back. You woke up groggily as if you had been sleeping for ages. As the fog in your mind cleared, you realized that you were seated on a couch. Did Milo drug you last night? It was hard to remember. There was a strange ache in your left eye, like someone had tried to scoop it out. You tried to move your hand towards it to feel what was going on, but you realized, try as you might, you couldn't move your limbs. You could only awkwardly bob your head from side to side. I wouldn't try to move, my pet. We're still in the middle of getting married, you know. Married? Shyly, Milo tapped the ring on your left hand, with the ring matching his. They say that this finger is connected to the human heart, and that if you betray someone in love, you'd have to cut it off. I thought that idea was so romantic. So, I decided that we should have something from each other to seal the deal. You look up at Milo slowly, and your eye looked straight back at you. I wasn't sure if I did it correctly, but look, we're matching now, aren't we? His face flushed. The eyes started to cry with tears leaking out. An eye for an eye. It was strangely beautiful in a way. But I'm not quite done yet. I have one more thing before we are officially married. A metal stick with the symbol of an eye on it, colored in hot red. With this, we really will be together forever. Before you could protest, he pressed the iron straight onto your bare chest. You let out a scream of agony as the metal burned into your skin. Your eye, Milo's eye, both started tearing up. In reflexive pain, you bashed your head into Milo's nose, causing him to stumble backwards. Gasping, you felt the steam rising from your chest as the marking settled onto your skin, and then you heard laughing. A hysterical, gleeful laugh. Trying to ignore the pain, you craned your neck upwards to see a Milo, blushing profusely in ecstasy as his nose bled out from your previous headbutt. That hurt so much. Being hurt by my pet. He wiped the blood from his nose, all while pressing down. With his painful squirming sounding joyful, you felt the paralysis in your arms wearing off, and you touched your chest, circling the newly scorched branding. We're so close to being bound together. He placed the branding iron into your hands and started to pull off his shirt. I can't wait. I'll be marked just like you soon. He guided your hand to push the rod against his skin, and pushing it into him, the tears from his eyes started to run down quickly. He was drooling, enjoying the pain just a little too much. You pulled it away, leaving a deep mark on his chest, mirroring yours. Now, even if you ran away, even if you were taken from me, we are marked as one. You cupped his face as he spoke, drying his tears with your fingers. You finally understand, don't you? the kind of love I was striving for. This is it. You understand, right? Ah, to be twisted into one, a cruel love to most, but to you, it was finally the perfect love you wanted. A married love end. Well, all right, that was incredibly twisted, but I am looking forward to the other route, which I believe is going to be the violence route. Not that this wasn't violent, but you know, more so probably. Anyhow, I really enjoyed that. That was, wow, very, very twisted. To say that I feel bad for Milo is an understatement, but hey, I guess they're happy together. So, yeah, I'm gonna leave this here. We will tackle the other route very soon here. But if you made it this far, if you were able to sit through all of that, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And if you did like it, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more of me, please subscribe. I'm still uploading twice a week at the moment, but it will be back to 3 times a week soon. And I hope to see you all next time. Bye!